Shalom. Welcome to Hebrew Literacy, Hebrew Immersion in the Prophets study. Tonight we are continuing with our study in the book of 1 Kings. Let's say a quick prayer and then we'll get started. Avinu Malkeinu ken yehi ratzon, ki ta'azerna et kol talmudai. There we go, nice and short. Just asking our Father to please help all of my students. All right, and here we go. This is verse 13, and it says, Vaya'an hamelech et ha'am kasha, vaya'azov et atzat hazekenim. Vaya'an. So what is this word? We know this word. This is the word Anna. Ayin. Noon. Should start over here a bit. Ayin. Noon. Hey. So here's the ayin. Here's the noon. And the hey has gone away, right? As it often does at the end of verbs. So the verb is Anna, which is to answer. And then we have, so the yod here means he. That guy. That's he. So Ya'an is he is answering or he will answer. Right. So the vav here is our vav conversive. That's changing the aspect. So if you think of Ya'an as he will answer, Va Ya'an means and he answered. Okay? So that all together, of course, this is our verb. And this is our subject. Ha melech. Ha, the melech, the king. So the ha melech, the king. So we usually have that word order in Hebrew of verb followed by subject. Mm-hmm. So Anna being the verb, and the subject is Hamelech. So, and or but, the king answered. Okay, and we have et, we don't translate. Et ha'am, the people. And here you notice we have the longer vowel because the ayin cannot take a dagesh. So it came down here and we have compensatory lengthening. So what we have is we had a hey with a patach, and that became a hey with a comets. See little, that's what's happening over here. That's why it's pointed that way. Right? Versus over here, we just have the ah. We have this one, the hey with the patach. Right, it's just a straight line. Okay. Continuing. Kasha. Kasha. So what does kasha mean? Kasha is like harsh, harshly, hard. Really a lot. In Shemot and Exodus, the wicked king, the new king who didn't know Yosef, it says that the Egyptian people and their king, they enslaved our ancestors with avodah, that's labor. What kind of labor? Kasha, like back-breaking labor, harsh labor, right? So here, that's the same word, and kind of interesting. At least it makes me think of that part in Exodus. And this is really another example of one of them. And I know you guys probably don't need to be convinced, but maybe something you didn't think about. One of the other great reasons for learning biblical Hebrew is when you read a passage that has the same word, but maybe it's translated differently in your language, you might not have that connection pop up in your mind. But when they're both the same word, like backbreaking versus harshly, for me, I think of kasha, because I'm not thinking of it as backbreaking or harsh. I'm thinking of kasha, and so you'll start to get those extra connections. And sometimes there really are spiritual connections from point A to point B. And this is what the rabbis call a gezerah shava, when that is the case. When the text is intentionally using the same word or words or phrases to make you think about something somewhere else in Scripture. And there's a real neat teaching if you've ever watched any of Dr. Jordan Peterson's literary analysis of the Bible, which I do not endorse and agree with everything that he says, because he kind of follows some of the standard stuff. But he also has some neat ideas. It's neat to see a literary approach, a psychological approach to the Torah. And he has a neat diagram that he shows in one of his lectures. I think it was the one on Genesis. And it shows like all these colors, all these lines interconnecting the Bible. If you treated the Bible as like a hyperlink text showing the, just so many connections connecting to it. And that's without even recognizing each and every Gezerah Shava. So that's something I really like. And that's another benefit to learning Tanachit. Yeah? Oops, sorry. Okay. Continuing on. So, Vaya'an HaMelech, but the king answered et ha'am, the people. Continuing on, Vaya'azov. Sorry, so he dealt with the people kasha harshly. Vaya'azov. So azav is to abandon or to leave. Azav is to abandon. So this, of course, is very famous Psalm 22. Azav Tani, you have abandoned me, you have forsaken me. So abandon or forsake, leave behind. I'll just write forsake, because that's kind of more famous. Okay, and again, of course, we have the yod showing us that it's he. So Ya'azov, he is forsaking, he is abandoning, or he will forsake, he will abandon as an imperfect. But then we've got our magical Vav conversive that's going to change that all to make it a perfect. So Va Ya'azov, but he abandoned. What did he abandon? Abandon? Et, we don't translate. Atzat, this is Eitza. Eitza. So the Tav here is actually showing us that this is construct, right? So that means of. Kind of hard to see. Let's do it like this. There we go. Of. There. All right. So that's of. And we have a construct chain. And since the last word is definite, it's got a ha here. By the way, I'm going to go with Brenda's suggestion. She suggested that I make a legend, and I didn't think to do it before we started, but I'll just show you. You're probably picking up on it in general. That basically what I'm doing is I'm using red for the article. I'll just put def. That's for the definite article, right? I'm using aqua for construct or to highlight other things. Construct, I'll just put like that. I'm using maroon or purplish maroon for roots. Okay. And I'm using neon green for Vav conversives. Where we change the aspect. It's kind of like changing the time, but not really. And what else have I been using? Haven't done it yet, but I've been tending to use darker, like a darker green for just regular valves. Or wow. Okay. All right. And then I've been using, well, on my display, I have it called neon orange. I'm not sure how it appears for you guys. This color here, whatever that is, pops quite a bit for like, I'm just going to say a prefix. That's technically not what it is, but I'm going to say a prefix on verb, right? So if you look, we have over here, right? There, and over here. Okay. And then you probably have recognized this by now. I've been using yellows, well, this kind of golden yellow, for suffixes. Suffix. Okay. Interestingly enough, looking in this, okay, we do have one. Here we have a suffix. Here we have a suffix. So I'll go ahead and color that now just so you can see it. Okay. That's he or him or his, etc. All right. And as I develop more color schemes along the way, I'll let you know. I'm not really sure what color I should use for marking like he fill, the extra yod that's in there. Well, think about it. Oh, maybe hot pink will do for that. Oh, yeah. I'll think about it. I'll think about it. All right. So continuing on. Atzat, so that's the Aitzah, and the He became a Tav because it's in construct, right? That's counsel of or advice of Ha, that's our definite article, the Zekenim. So Zaken is old or elder or a beard. Zekenim are elders. So Vaya'azov, and he abandoned et Atzat HaZekenim. The, right? Remember, we have to. This is just something, I'm not sure if I'll put this in the legend or not, but I tend to like to use this kind of amber color when I'm showing the definite article in a construct chain, the definiteness being transmuted. I don't think maybe you just learn that. I'm not sure how to write that with one or less words. Okay. Okay. So the Atzat, the council of the elders, Asher, who Yeatsuhu. Now look what we have here. Oh yeah, maybe we don't really call it a prefix, but it's prefix and affix. I think that'll be good to do that. Okay, so let's say prefix. Maybe instead of prefix, I call it a. I could just say affix. What should we? I'll pause for a moment while I think. Okay, let's call this person. Well, that's not really the right. Same color, is it? Neon, there we go. Person. And I'll, in parentheses, verb, right? So, for example, he, she, I, you, like that. Okay? So here we have the person, the yod at the beginning. That tells it's third person, which means he or they. And then we have the u down here. Here the Masoretes have added this because the scribe left off the full u, right? That's what it would usually be. So that tells us it's plural. So they. So ye'atsu is they counsel who? So ye'atsu, they counseled him. Oh, I apologize. I just realized this is actually not the third person. With pay yod verbs, oftentimes the yod at the beginning disappears, but here it is not. So it's ye'atsu. Ye'atsu means they counseled. I just realized the aspect isn't matching. Sorry about that. Corrected. So the actual verbal root is Yod, Ayin, Sadi, to counsel. Yeyatsu, they counseled who? Him. Him. And maybe I'm going to zoom in a bit using my nifty new device. I just got to remember to turn it the right way. I turned it the wrong way. I haven't figured out how to change that programming so that it's the other way around for that. So I always make the mistake first and then I can do it. For those of you who want to see a bit closer, if you're on cell phones or something, and I'll just let you take that in for a moment. If you have any comments or questions, now would be a good time to ask over in the chat, or if you're watching this later, you can leave a comment down below. I'll also take this time to remind you that this ministry runs on tithes and offerings, gifts, etc. So if you would like to contribute, we would greatly appreciate it. You can either do a one-time gift over at Hebrew Literacy. That's paypal.me/Hebrew Literacy. Please make it out to select friends and family. That way there'll be reduced fees. Or if you'd like to sign up for a monthly contribution, that's easier to do right here at patreon.com/Hebrew Literacy. But you can also do, if you prefer to do that on PayPal as well, you can let me know. We can set up a recurring button and all that stuff. We do have special additions for our monthly supporters at various tier levels. So I'm kind of working to flesh that out more and more. One thing that you can benefit on is our Isaiah Dominance class that we're doing. I try to put out usually 2 videos a week for that, but sometimes 1, sometimes 3, right? Trying to average out to 2 a week, where we are mastering the vocabulary of Isaiah. And we've completed the first chapter already. We're into chapter 2. All those videos are available for our monthly supporters. And then for those who support above a certain level, we have, I've started introducing where you can see some of my videos before the final edit. So they've been edited some usually, but maybe you have some suggestions or something to make before I do the final release. Those are out there, and I'm thinking of adding some other things like just kind of my take on current events and stuff like that. So, so anyway, that's where we're at. If you have ideas for different tiers, what they could offer, please let me know. I'm still learning how to do this right. So I really do appreciate all of you supporters. It's really very, very helpful and helps us to, well, keep the morale up so that I don't think I need to go back to the normal rat race, which would be the death of this ministry. So, yeah, because my profession is the profession that I came out of before going into ministry. It's one of those that it's very rare to find a job where you work less than 60, 70 hours a week, right? So it's like all draining. And even then, when you're home, you're usually thinking about it and maybe researching, looking up stuff, just really, really hardcore tech stuff. So, not that it's not enjoyable, but I feel called to do ministry. And so you guys, by donating, it really helps make that all possible. So thank you very much. Okay. All right. So hopefully any questions you had have been answered while I was blah-blahing about support. Look at that. Push of a button and we go back to normal. Love it. Okay. So asher, which, so this is referring back to, this is the relative pronoun. It can be about a person or about a thing. And here it's actually referring back to, I'm picking a color. It's referring back to, oops. This. Oh, it looks like I accidentally wiped out my construct marker. There we go. Yay. I love how those colors pop. Special thanks to the member who donated this device that I'm using that helps with streaming. And that kind of led me down a rabbit trail where I found a scripting language that helped me to make access some colors programmatically that are not available to normal PowerPoint users. So like if you're normally doing PowerPoint, maybe I'll show you guys. Like you come over here and you'll say, okay, I want to use a pen. And can you see it? Oh, it's not showing you. Basically, it gives me the colors white, black, brick red, red, orange, yellow, light green, middle green, cyan, blue, navy blue, and purple, right? So here we have like up here we have this aqua, and we have the violet, and there's a magenta on here somewhere, and lime greens, and other colors I've yet to discover because the programming for it's kind of strange. The hexadecimal color codes don't exactly always work, and even if you reverse them, they don't always work. So I just kind of, it was hit and miss. I stayed up one night until like 5 a.m. finding colors that I knew I'd love, and then here they are. Yay. So when I start my teaching, I hit a button, it kicks off the script, assigns those colors programmatically to PowerPoint, and yay. So we have those fancy colors. So anyway, I know I bubbled about this before, but very happy, and not have to be fumbling with the menus and click, click, click. I can just press my button, press my button, press my button. Yeah, Baruch Hashem. Okay. All right. So maybe just run through verse 13 one more time. V'ya'an hamelech et ha'am kasha. The king answered the people harshly, like an adverb there. V'ya'azov et atzat hazakenim. And he abandoned the advice of the elders, asher which ya'atzuhu, they had counseled him. Verse 14. Vaydaber alehem. Vaydaber, and he spoke. So that yod there is telling us it's he, and the vav conversive. So yedaber, he will speak. Vaydaber, and he spoke. Ale hem, unto hem, them. I think this is more of a gold, right? Not really so much yellow. Aw. I wish it would let me zoom and draw while I'm zoomed. That would be so helpful. Vaydaber, and he spoke. Ale, well, this is El, unto hem, unto them. Ka'atzat haladim lemor. Oh yeah, what do we use for the inseparable prepositions? I think I've been using orange for that, right? Oh, yantar. Yantar, amber. All right, so let's add that. Hope those colors are distinct enough. I'll just say prepositions. Prepositions. You guys let me know maybe in the comments if there's enough of a distinction between these guys. I think maybe because the function is different, maybe it's okay, but you let me know. So here we have ka. That's the inseparable preposition, meaning like or as. And then we have another construct chain, like a parsing machine. No, wrong color. That rarely happens anymore. It's starting to make me think it's a software issue. It's programmatic because I'm pressing a button that says aqua. So for it to show lime, which is in a very different place on my screen, yeah, I'm thinking that might be a PowerPoint boo-boo. We can't really debug PowerPoint for them. So here we have atzat. So it's aitza. So ka, like. Atzat ha-yadim. And here we have the definite article here. Red we use for the article. Right, so that's the. Oh yeah, and I think I was using the neon orange to impart definiteness to the rest of the construct chain. So, according to Atzat Haladim, the council of the babies, of the children's council. And I'm not going to review right now, but I do have in a previous video, it might be indexed already, the rule for attaching inseparable prepositions to a word that have a composite schwa. Basically, without going into it all, he's just copying the sound part of the schwa. So the ah part is getting copied over here because we cannot have two schwas in a row beginning the word. That is not allowed. All right. Lemo, saying. Avi hichbid et rulechem. Avi, that's my father. My father hichbid. And maybe I think traditionally in the past, I think I used red to mark where there's a marker of the hefil. So maybe I'll use brick. Here we go, brick red. Can you see that well enough? Brick red with a white correction. How about that? We have here also. Oh yeah, brick red might be a problem because you may think of it like the hey definite article. Okay, let's just use sagol and purple. So here we have, and I'm just going to circle them. That and that. These are markers that are telling us that this is the hefil verbal form or binyan. Okay. Hefil. So you might know this root. The root is kaf, beit, dalit, kavad, or kaved, which is to be heavy. So this is the hefil, or the causative verbal form, to cause to be heavy. Okay, so avi, my father, hichbid, made heavy. So we have a bit of a reversal in order here. Our verb is over here, and our subject is here. So the king is actually speaking with emphasis, right? Because you remember the normal order is verb followed by subject. And when you change the word order to put subject first, I know modern Hebrew dialect does this quite a bit, but in biblical Hebrew, that's not the norm. Modern Hebrew's basically been corrupted by Indo-European languages. So it's following those examples of other languages. But when you reverse the word order in Tanakh, usually that's showing some kind of emphasis. So we have some emphasis over here because the subject is coming first. My father. And I kind of felt like I thought we talked about this recently. Feels so familiar. But I paused and I checked, and it showed the last time we ended on verse 12. So we should be right here on 13 and 14, etc. Yeah, I paused and checked again. Yeah, we finished on 12, so this is correct. Maybe there's some repetition. My father, Avi, hichbid, made heavy, right? So kaved is to be heavy. Hichbid, those two little purple guys, that means to make, or to make whatever the verbal stem is, the verbal root is. Made heavy. Et, that's our DDO, don't need to translate it. Rulechem. So we have, even if you don't know the word, we have chem. Your. Speaking to a plural group, right? Your is what the word is. So your yoke He made heavy your yoke. Va'ani osif. I know what we'll do here. Magenta is going to be for emphatics. Anything emphatic. Right? So maybe I could have. It's not quite emphatic by putting the subject first, so I won't do that. But here we have an emphatic pronoun. Ani. Ani. Why? Because we also have aleph over here. The aleph on the front of the verb, right? Which, okay, I'll make it the correct color now. We're doing that as, yeah, that's the top, right? Okay. This is the person. That means I. But ani also means I, right? So he's saying I. So that's why I marked it as emphatic. But I, Osif, I will add Osif. I checked again. When I looked at the description, sure feels familiar. So, all right, I will Osif. So this is from the verb. Let me change to the right color here. Yod. Huh, why does that happen? Samech. Face Sofit. Yod, Samech, Face Sofit. So we can see the Yod is missing. But we have the Samech and the Fe. So the Yod would be here. But oftentimes verbs that start with a Yod, that Yod will disappear. And that has happened. He's gone. The Yod is gone. But we do have our augment there. May have to choose a different color for that. Give me suggestions for the color for the Hefel augment. For those of you who remember I used to mark up and hand out PDFs for the Aliyah Yomis. I think I used red. So that's why I'm hesitant to go away from red. I use red for marking the Hefel augments. But I can change it. Seems like it should be something brighter. Okay. So here it's elative from Yasaf, right? So I will add even more al upon ulechem, your yoke. I'm looking over here at my device, my streaming device. So in case you're wondering what's he looking at there, we have a nice little device here now that has the buttons and the knobs and all that stuff. So Avi, my father, Yisar, corrected. This is where we get the word musar from, discipline. He corrected or reproved etchem. This is the DDO with a suffix on it. Etchem, y'all. He corrected y'all or you. Ba shefatim. Pardon me, ba shotim. Do we have our preposition? That's with. Oh, I can write down here. I just realized the black will look great. With the shotim, with the whips, or with scourging, you might translate. Va'ani, but I, emphatic. It's emphatic because we have the I is here again too. See? But actually, let's go to the black. I, I. See why it's emphatic, the first one? Doesn't need to be there for the plain meaning of it, right? So that's an emphatic. But I. So I myself, or but I. And then we have a normal valve here. Ayaser. I will correct, I will rebuke, or chastise etchem. Etchem. You, or you all. Ba'akrabim. With akrabim, with scorpions. Hey, what a young, foolish person. Like the people can't do anything about it. All right, so I'll read that verse one more time and then we'll be done. Verse 14. I think the white pointer may be easier to follow. Vaydaber alehem, but he answered them. He spoke unto them. Ka'atzat hayladim, according to the counsel of the babies, the children. Le'amor, saying, I just love again. I love how that narrator puts it. Wow, really feels deja vu. Oh, because we talked about the Eladim in earlier verses. Avi, my father, hichbid et orlechem, made heavy your yoke. Vo'ani, osif, but I myself will add alapon orlechem, your yoke. Avi, my father, Yisar, again, it's subject verb, so it's my father, Yisar, chastised etchem, you all, bashotim, with whips, with scourging. Va'ani ayaser, but I myself will correct, will chastise etchem, you all, ba, with the akrabim, scorpions. And just to point out, we do have another instance here where there's an emphatic subject. And the verb is coming after. Okay. All right. Hope that worked well for you guys. You may want to take a screenshot for at least for the legend. I'm not sure if I'm going to rewrite that every time. So we're at 38, 39 minutes or so. This is pretty decent size, I think, for the class. Decent length. Usually I cover a bit more material because we don't have the live Q&A, so I hope I was able to answer your questions while things were going. And if not, leave a comment down below and I will try to get to it. Sometimes YouTube doesn't show me the comments or the questions. It's kind of strange. Or if there's a follow-up, a lot of times I don't see it unless I remember specifically to go through, search for unanswered follow-ups. There's got to be a better way. So if you think I didn't answer something you wrote, I just saw some pretty deep questions someone wrote a few months ago. And this week I went through and answered those, so I haven't heard back from them, so I don't think you've even seen it. So if that's you, if you and I had a bunch of going back and forth, and you're like, oh, well, he just dropped out for the conversation, check, because there might be some paragraphs there that are waiting for you. As always, I wish you guys have a beautiful day or evening, whatever the case may be. And as always, keep working on the holy tongue. It is so worth it. You won't regret it. Shalom. Shalom.